Welcome to part 3 in this 3-part series of screencasts from LSE Life on working with your data. In part 3, we'll look at what goes into your methods section. Put simply, the methods section of your dissertation allows the reader to understand both how you collected your data, the data collection, and why you collected your data in the way you did it, the data analysis. Why is it so important? Well, to understand your research and your arguments and analysis, your reader needs to know a number of things, such as how much data did they collect? What data did they collect? Why did they do things this way? How did they justify this method of collection and analysis? Did they experience any limitations? Basically, you don't want to leave your reader in the dark on any of these aspects. So how should you potentially structure your method section? Well, first, it is important to say that any directions from your department on layout of the method section, what you should and should not include, or any directions about other sections of your dissertation, take precedence over LSE's Life advice in this screencast or in our one-to-one sessions. So do check your department's recommendations first. If there are any, generally you will find these on your Moodle page, or they may have been sent to you by your supervisor. If you are in doubt or think you may have missed these, do contact your department to double check if this is the case. So how should you structure the method section? Well, it may include the following: the theoretical background to your methods, an outline of what you did for your data collection, an outline of what you did for your data analysis, justification for your methods of collection and analysis. What order should you present this information? Well, it really is up to you and the story you need to tell. Always think about your reader. What order would they need to read this information in order to fully understand the story of your research? Let's take each of these potential sections one by one. In the theoretical background, some important things to consider are: how do the theories you've looked at in your literature review connect to your own research? Who else has done this method of research before? Who critiques this type of research or these researchers' methods? What are the strengths of their arguments? What are the weaknesses of their arguments? When discussing your data collection, you might want to consider including some or all of the following: when you did it, the period of time, was it from January to March, during June, the number of days, the hours that it took, what was in the scope of your data collection and what wasn't. Try to keep this explicit. Brief details of materials, resources, technology you used, any AV recordings made, what software did you use, how much data you actually collected, e.g. the hours of interviews, observations, the number of photographs or surveys that you did, and lastly, restrictions and limitations of your collected data. Any problems you encountered. This may be particularly relevant right now because of the lockdowns most countries are experiencing. Don't worry about discussing this as part of your methods section if it's relevant, but obviously keep it brief and do explain how you overcame or circumvented these restrictions. When discussing your data analysis, you may want to consider including what type of analysis you did. Was it quantitative, qualitative, mixed method? What are the traditional steps of this method of analysis, if there are any? Has anyone else done this method before? Did you make any modifications to the method? If so, why and how, and what's your justification for this change? Was there any data you collected but then removed from the analysis? What was it and why? And lastly, the justification for your methods. Why this and these methods and not others? What advantage did this method give your research? What limitations did this method give your research? And how do your findings fit with the literature review? And how does this all connect to your research aims and the question? As you've probably realised, there is a lot of crossover between these sections. But don't panic, this is a good thing. It means, as we discussed, you have the freedom to tell the story you want to tell in a way that works for your research. Still unsure how to do it? Read, read, and read. Go back to any of the journal articles you have read for your course. The vast majority will have a methods section, and in most cases, this may be clearly labelled, so you can just focus on reading that part. Look at how those researchers tell their story in the methods section. Is it clear what they did? Is it clear how they did it? Is it clear why they did it the way they did and why not? Do they reflect on problems and limitations? What would you emulate in their layout? And what would you change? Okay, so there you have it. Across the 3 screencasts, we've looked at and thought about your data in terms of its collection and analysis. We've then taken this and applied it to how you may wish to structure your method section. Thanks for listening, and we hope you found this helpful.